It continues to be a week with lots of data, mostly a catch-up, but it's creating a bit of volatility in the broad market. So what I want to look at is the Mag 7 stocks, those 7 large tech stocks that usually have some pretty significant moves. So we're going to go ahead and go through the charts, and I am not going to prepare them in advance. This is going to be a good way for you to see how do you kind of pick back up on something you've been analyzing or observing. And we're still going to look at price action, market timing, and momentum because I'm HEMA ready, and that's what I do. So let's dive in. We're just going to go in alphabetical order. So we're going to go with Apple first. All right. So here I had a resistance level that's obviously been taken out and a support way down below. So when you visit a chart that has broken above a level that you were waiting to see if that would happen, then you can just update it. So usually there's going to be new resistance, either past traded levels, like here, the December 3rd high is the next target, or possible projected levels if you're trading at new all-time highs. When you move resistance, you always want to move support. Okay, it doesn't mean that this support is not valid anymore. It just means it's not the most recent level. What's more significant is the low from January 20th, and that is the platform that's lifting Apple currently from these deeply oversold conditions. So my next upside target for Apple is the December 3rd high, and if it breaks out beyond that, I would say the 310 area. All right, Amazon. It broke below a trend line that I had in the chart and is now consolidating. Momentum is quite oversold. And based on this, I am not having enough information to make a conclusion, so I'm going to go to a weekly chart. This allows me to see that we're still kind of retracing back some of that move from the April 2025 low, but been dancing around the 50% retracement. Bringing it back to a daily chart and looking at a little bit more price history. On this guy, I think that we are likely to move lower before higher. The next support being the May 6, 2025 low around 184. If it's actually able to climb back above this 210 area, then a return to this trend line would be the target. All right, now technically we have Alphabet that's also in the beginning of this order, but because I think of the ticker first, it skipped my mind. So coming to the chart of Google, Alphabet, you can see that I had some support on here from the November 14th low. When the market started trading above the November 25th high, it made the low on December 17th a new platform, and that remains the new important platform. Notice there was a nice extended move, and now we're pulling back. So right now, the momentum is weakening. However, it has not coincided with price action taking out the December 17th low. So I think there's room for Google to regroup here. I just wouldn't stick my hand out and buy it yet. If it is able to get higher, then that February 3rd high is the first target. If it moves below December 17th, then that original support from November 14th would be at risk. All right, here's Meta. So this is a chart that needs a little bit of a cleanup. So I'm going to just remove this resistance that, yes, we broke through and now we're back at. So this whole kind of zone around 674 is still providing support. You can see the market's not able to push below it, but it's technically violated, so I'll remove it. And this platform of support back from last April is no longer the main important one to watch. It's essentially this November set of lows. So Meta, I think, has a room to form a tradable low, just not right now. Right now, it looks like it wants to put another push lower, get back into that kind of 610 area. Then maybe it would be good to pick up on. I am seeing a possibility of a new trend line to draw. All right, that's kind of far out. We haven't really touched the action yet, but it could be a nice guideline. So if do see an increase in the price first before a drop, then this 750 area near this trend line might be the upside target. Okay, Microsoft. So here we had a resistance level at January 7th. It's still resistance, but it's not the resistance anymore. Again, it's all about identifying what is the level that's shaping the current trend. So with this downtrend since October, it's now shaped by the January 20th high. How do you know that? Because you ask yourself the question, which kind of stair step, right, would have to be violated to change the tune? And it's always going to be the one that is producing the most recent directional move. So the most recent down leg is off the January 20th high within the context of the decline off the October 28th high. That's why it's the most important resistance right now. Now I'm going to go to a weekly for some context because we are pulling back. Now we did already retrace more than 50%. You can just tell visually, but we're coming back towards this important range from the week ending April 11th. So I'm going to come back to the daily chart. And if we continue lower, which I think there's room, the next downside target could be the middle of that, so around 369. If shares resume higher, cool, but they've got to close this gap and get above the January 20th high for me to get excited about Microsoft. All right, NVIDIA remains in a range. Now this line looks like it's intact, but technically it was broken. So it's the high from January 5th, which was tested on January 30th. So it's no longer the solid, ceiling of resistance, but it's still definitely been exerting bearish pressure. Note also that the support from December 17th is still offering support. It was approached on February 5th. So NVIDIA is just in a big sideways mess. It's probably waiting for when its earnings come out. Okay, according to my well chart scanner, there's such a report on February 25th, so a little bit of ways to go. So NVIDIA is just kind of sideways. I would steer clear for now. Last but not least is Tesla. So this has had a little bit of a recovery higher, but it has not moved above the low that's defining the downtrend off of the December 22nd high, which is the January 23rd high. So I would want to see Tesla get above that before getting excited about it. And the platform of support is down below here at 382.78, 383.76. These are two lows that are very close together. It's the November 14th low that's the most important. So that's my take on the Mag 7 stocks right now. If you found that to be helpful, if you trade or observe the Mag 7 stocks, or you got some reminders on technical analysis tips there, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next video.